Hello everyone, Rahul here and welcome to our channel Dr. Stubi, where you find video tutorials that help you understand the topics that you learn in a medical school. So today's topic of discussion is pathogenicity of Staphylococcus aureus. What are the clinical symptoms that we see or the disease caused by the Staphylococcus aureus? Okay, so let's start. Pathogenicity of Staph aureus. So the Staphylococcus aureus are they cause the majority of the pyogenic human lesions. Okay, so and the lesions are localized. The lesions caused by Staphylococcus aureus are localized. So they cause the majority of the pyogenic lesions, and these lesions are localized. Okay, so let's write it in point wise. So cause majority of the acute pyogenic lesions and these lesions and pyogenic lesions which are localized. Okay, they are not widespread, which are localized. Now the disease caused by the Staphylococcus aureus can be classified into three types. Okay, not three types, can be classified into various types, and those types I'll say as cutaneous infections, deep infections. Okay, the disease caused by the Staphylococcus aureus are classified under these headings. They are cutaneous infections, deep infections, okay, and food poisoning, exfoliative diseases, and toxic shock syndrome. So about exfoliative diseases and toxic shock syndrome, we have already discussed about these two diseases while discussing about the toxins products produced by the Staphylococcus aureus. So in today's video we shall discuss about the cutaneous infections, deep infections, and food poisoning. Okay, so coming to the cutaneous infections, the cutaneous infections are of varying severity. Okay, and they include, okay, I'll write in the points. So okay, so staphylococcal diseases are grouped into, okay, so first group is cutaneous infections. Okay, and these infections are of, they are of varying severity. Okay, and include furuncles, styes, boils, abscesses, etc. Okay, and in these staphylococci they also cause sepsis in the bones and wounds. Okay, so the next point to this is, okay, this is the first point. The next point is they also cause sepsis in burns and wound. Okay, burns, burns, burns and wounds. So these are some of the important or major cutaneous infections. Then we shall come to the deep infections. So deep infections, so the commonest deep infection caused by Staphylococcus aureus is acute osteomyelitis. Okay, so osteomyelitis is the inflammation. In general words, the osteomyelitis is the inflammation of the bone and marrow, and this is triggered by Staphylococcus. Generally it is triggered by mycobacteria or staphylococcal bacteria, and but most of the time it is triggered by Staphylococcus aureus. Okay, the commonest deep infection caused by Staphylococcus aureus is acute osteomyelitis, and about osteomyelitis we will discuss in detail in pathology also in our upcoming videos. So for now, commonest deep infection, okay, I am writing INF infection, is acute osteomyelitis. Okay, almost 90% is caused by the Staphylococcus aureus. Okay, and in respiratory tract, so in respiratory tract it may cause pharyngitis, tonsillitis, sinusitis and pneumonia. Okay, and pneumonia is generally secondary to other respiratory infections like influenza. Okay, let's start about that. In respiratory tract, it causes, am I being too fast? Okay, I'll try to slow it down. In respiratory tract it causes tonsillitis. So guys, if you have any problem in the videos or you find something that should be improved, you can tell me through the comment section, or you can contact me at the Gmail so that I can improve. Okay, so let's continue to the topic. In respiratory tract it causes tonsillitis, pharyngitis, sinusitis and pneumonia. Okay, pharyngitis, sinusitis and pneumonia. Okay, and this pneumonia is usually secondary to other respiratory infections. There are other like influenza. Okay, so let's mark this one and write the points for this. Okay, pneumonia. This pneumonia is mostly secondary. Okay, mostly secondary to, this is secondary. Okay, in short form, those who have studied organic chemistry very well, they will understand this secondary. So mostly secondary to other respiratory infections like influenza. Okay, and this pneumonia is bronchopneumonic in distribution and may cause pulmonary abscess. Okay, so this pneumonia is bronchopneumonic in distribution and may lead to pulmonary abscesses. Okay, so I'll tell you once again, I'll add it once again. In the commonest deep infections is osteomyelitis. About 90% is caused. Then in respiratory tract, it can cause tonsillitis, pharyngitis, sinusitis, and pneumonia. And pneumonia is mostly secondary, okay, secondary to other infections like other respiratory infections like influenza. And this pneumonia is bronchopneumonic in distribution. This is a single word, okay. I just would not write it over here, so I continued over here. Bronchopneumonic in distribution, and it may lead to pulmonary abscess, okay, pulmonary abscess. Okay, so this is about the deep infection in the respiratory tract. Now it may cause breast abscesses in lactating mothers, okay, can cause breast abscess in lactating mother, okay. Then if there is hematogenous spread, so hematogenous spread means spreaded through blood. Okay, so one thing I would like to mention over here. So you may be wondering that the infections, how do the staphylococci reach to the bones so that they are causing the osteomyelitis, that is bone and marrow inflammation, okay. So the method of transport is hematogenous, same over there. In osteomyelitis also there may be hematogenous spread from may be hematogenous spread, or there may be extension from the site of injury, or site of injury, I mean, there may be extension from the contagious site, okay, extension. And in some of the cases there is direct inoculation during surgery or during compound fractures. What happens is severe injuries, what happens, there is a direct inoculation into the bone. So there may be direct inoculation or hematogenous spread or extension from the contagious site. So these are the methods how the bacteria reaches to the bone, okay. And there are other various mechanisms that lead to osteomyelitis: inflammation of the inflammation of the bone and marrow, lifting of the periosteum. These all things detailed about osteomyelitis we'll discuss in our pathology class, where we'll discuss very detailed class on osteomyelitis. So for now, remember this much, and I just now explained some little additional knowledge. So again, if there is hematogenous spread of the bacteria, then there may be a risk of meningitis, okay. The most common is the osteomyelitis, we have already discussed. But the other less risky, there may be meningitis, endocarditis, or renal abscesses, okay, in case of hematogenous spread, okay. So let's write that. In case of okay, let make it long, okay, I'll drop this also. Hematogenous spread may cause, okay, I'll separate this so that you don't get confused. This is something else. This is from the part of for pneumonia, okay, pneumonia, okay. So hematogenous spread may cause meningitis, endocarditis, and renal abscesses, okay. So, and these are the some of the deep infections, and we have one more thing called tropical pyomycystis, and this is the formation or the accumulation, not accumulation, this is the formation of staphylococcal abscesses in the voluntary muscles, okay. in young adults in the various parts of the tropics. It is called the tropical pyomyositis, and there is the staphylococcal abscesses in the voluntary muscles. So tropical pyomyositis, okay. So this is a condition, this is also type of deep infection, the part of deep infections. So it is a condition seen in young adults, okay. Condition in young adults in many parts of tropics, okay. And this thing is characterized by staphylococcal abscesses in the voluntary muscles, okay. So this is the tropical pyomyositis condition in young adults, condition seen in young adults in many parts of tropics, which is characterized. So these are main part is that tropical pyomyositis is characterized by staphylococcal abscesses in the voluntary muscles. Okay, this is the major part. You should know that what is its character, how we will differentiate that, and how we will know that it is tropical pyomyositis is that it is characterized by staphylococcal abscesses in the voluntary muscles, okay. And you know what voluntary muscles are. So let's come to epidemiology of Staphylococcus aureus, and it is a quite short topic, not very. So on epidemiology, the humans and the carriers are the most commonest source of infection, okay. Human beings and the carriers, infected human beings and the carriers are the most important source of infection. And even 10 to 30% of the healthy people also carry these Staphylococcus aureus or Staphylococcus in the hair, okay, nose, in the perineum, okay. So they carry, and mode of transmission is contact, fomites, dust or droplets in the air, okay. So let's write it. Epidemiology: human beings and carriers are common source, animals being the less common source, okay. Source: about 10 to 30% of the people, healthy people, carry in hair, nose, area around the perineum, okay. And this is being transmitted, okay, transmitted by contact, fomites, or by dust or droplets, okay. So this we have discussed. Epidemiology: human beings and the carriers are the most common source of infection, and animals being the less common one, okay, of infections. Animals being the most least common, and they about 10 to 30% healthy people also carry the bacteria, also carry the Staphylococcus aureus in their hair, nose and area around the perineum, and they are transmitted by contact, direct contact or through fomites or dust or droplets. Okay, so this much to discuss on the pathogenicity of the Staphylococcus aureus and epidemiology. Okay, pathology and epidemiology. So in our next video we shall discuss about the lab diagnosis and treatment. So thank you guys, till then, bye bye.